was any indication of how well this will go, then perfect.
Yeah.
Mr. Joey Big Daddy Lino, thank you for doing this, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It really means a lot. You drove out here and spent your time with me. You are a casino host.
A independent casino host, which back in the old days they used to call them junket hosts. I don't really care for that terminology, but we are licensed through the property directly. And we have currently 71 properties. We just added 20 more at the first of the year, so we're over 100 properties worldwide. We do the islands, we do cruises, Vegas, Lake Tahoe, New Orleans. I even have 2 of the properties here in Kansas City. So if there's a casino and we can send players there and there's value for the player, that's what we want to do.
When you say junket, what's the meaning behind that term?
That's just an old term. It used to be where a casino would send a plane and pick up 100 people, and 100 people would be hosted by a company and would bring them or deliver them to a property. I went on my first junket when I think I was 14 years old with my dad and my uncle to Puerto Rico. And that's where my gambling career started at 14 years old. So,
what year was this?
Well, you do the math. I'm 60 now, so.
So could you gamble in Puerto Rico when you were 14?
Well, I've always been 6 foot tall plus, so yeah, we did sneak into the casino. I had a $5,000 credit line because I was part of the junket, but my dad said, "No, you can't touch that money." So they gave me $150, and he said, "Go learn how to play craps with Uncle Pat," and that's how my gambling career started.
What casino did they have at that time in Puerto Rico?
It was the El San Juan Towers, and it happened to be around my birthday, and we went every year for a few years, and yeah, that's kind of how it started. And my children today, they started young too, because I was a player, and I just had a grandbaby about 14 months ago, and she's been to 3 of our properties already. Now she can't gamble, but she's only 14 months.
Yeah,
we'll get her there.
Do you have any dissonance with like younger people that you know that are in your family gambling?
No.
Do you like advise them in any certain aspects of like?
They follow. There's a lot of this. The new kids are all about the YouTube and the Instagram, and I've kind of jumped on that and moved forward with those platforms and these podcasts and following what's out there. I don't monetize off it. I try to attract players that are $25K. You rate a player by his bankroll, how much he's willing to lose or win at a session. Now, casinos want everybody to lose. I don't want to see my players lose. It hurts, but it's inevitable about the job. So we try to build an experience to wow that player to come whichever property, whether it could be a private jet, it could be promo chips. We do a lot of tournaments. So every property has some sort of blackjack, slot, baccarat tournament. We don't get compensated on poker games, but a lot of the poker players do gamble, and they can be pretty heavy players as well. So.
Yeah, I know that a little bit personally. You said that you started gambling at 14, but how long have you been doing your current role as the host?
6, officially 10 years. From 2016, I formed Big Daddy's Hosting Services and started it as, part-time, and then went some time, and then all the time turned into freaking hammer time today.
So between being 14 and starting the independent host in 2016, did you have other businesses? Were you playing professionally? What were you doing in between those years?
Yeah, I started with a company in 1991 called Electrolux, and I moved up the ranks there. I just retired after 30 years with that company. And while I was hosting, I was doing that full-time and doing the hosting part-time. When my part-time job started paying me a little more than my full-time job, you decide you're going to change careers. So it wasn't a plan. It just happened. And, yeah, I'm grateful that this opportunity has come along.
And when it came along, was there something that gave you the reason to do it, the opening, or did you have a mentor that was like encouraging you to go into this business?
My partner today, who owns Global Player Network, who is our licensing company with the casinos, Joe P., he had been my host prior to him going independent. He was my host at Hard Rock. He was my host at the Palms. And, we worked together. He had about 50% of my business. And he's the one who said in 2016, hey, why don't you try this part-time? I was still going on cruises. I was taking friends with me. We traveled on a weekend. We had fun. We went to Panama. We flew private jets. And so it was a lifestyle. And, at the end of the day, gamblers aren't winning. My roster is 1,171 players. And somebody asked me one day, do you know of anybody on your roster that has been a winner year after year? And I could really just think of one person. And hated it, did it as a business, and didn't want anything from me, just wanted me to book him in as many tournaments as I can get him in. And the swings were still up and down, but, at the end of the year, he made a nice little tidy profit. And he was a great player. But eventually got tired of it and moved on to other things.
When you say he was a great player, what was he primarily playing to turn a profit?
Baccarat, 100%.
Okay.
No, he knew how to play blackjack. He would play in blackjack tournaments. We'd go to the islands together. We'd go on, private jets to Panama. So we had a relationship. We were traveling probably 3 to 4 times a month to different properties.
So tell me, when you first become a host, what are the initial steps you have to take to begin to make this into a full-time business? As far as like even securing multiple properties, I didn't even know you. So you have to get licensed through like an overhead company. Can you explain a little bit about? Yeah,
the licensing is done by my partner, and he set up his business a little different. I don't actually hold the license. So I am what they call a secondary. And what was good about me when I played professionally for a few years, I won $1 million, lost $1.5 million, and turned into a disaster. But at the end of the day, I had this big book of players that would play every weekend in tournaments. Sometimes they play 2 tournaments, 3. I caught myself one weekend doing 4 tournaments in a weekend. And it was one weekend where I won the biggest tournament of my life, which was $500,000. So that's what gets you. When you get that taste of that win, you get that taste of the lifestyle. And it's kind of like a drug. You're chasing a high. So I've seen players go up and down. I've seen players go bankrupt. I've seen players take a break for a little while. And I've seen players just quit altogether. So it's been an experience. I'm still learning. I'm still a new guy.
So for when you began to recruit into certain casinos, did you have to start with making a relationship with one of the bigger, like Caesars, or I know it wasn't Caesars, but something like that? And
the relationship was already there.
Okay.
My partner had the licenses. All I had to do is step in and start booking the business. Now, I didn't have any email etiquette, and our business is all email. 200-300 a day, requesting this player. The process is you request the player to come to that property. Is he eligible? Hardest part of my job is sending a player to a property where they've been there in the last 12 months.
The hardest part is sending a player where they have been there?
Yeah, if they've been there, I can't book them there.
Even if they played big and lost big?
That's correct, because they're coded to an in-house host. So that's their property player. But having 71 properties, of course, I'm going to market something else.
Does that create a divide if you steal business? Is there anything like
It's
that?
not stealing business. I first of all, I don't need to. They call it poaching.
Okay.
I don't need to go to a property because I'm very well known in the industry and go in and take that player and send them somewhere else. That's a no-no. That'll get your license fried.
Well, okay, sorry for using those terms,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
okay.
let's say Jim wants to play at the Wynn this weekend, but he was there 2 weeks ago.
I can't help them. I
Okay,
walk
so you
away.
just will not?
Yeah, I
I
just walk
understand.
away and I say, Jim, I'm sorry, you're coded to an in-house player.
Wow.
So MGM properties, it's 18 months.
That they take your
of
license?
Inactivity.
Oh, okay.
Inactivity is what it's called.
Wow.
So when you have a player that's, the word is coded, and regular gamblers don't understand how that works, but to get coded, I have to check with the property, make sure he hadn't been there in 12 or 18 months, depending on the property. And then I have to give them this player's stats. I have to give them ratings, name, address, date of birth, the full profile. Then I have to negotiate his discounts, his airfare. I have to negotiate promo chips, entry into the tournament. All of that happens before that player physically arrives. The whole deal is set. Once it's approved, we get an email. We email the customer his confirmation numbers with his dinner reservations or spa reservations, or he needed show tickets, or, every gamut that you can have when you're traveling.
So do you have a travel agent that works with you, or is this all your company that's doing everything?
We're doing everything. It was me for a long, long time, and I added in a part-time YouTube gal called Emily, and she goes by the Gambling Chef. And she works for Big Daddy's hosting services and does a lot of the data entry. I've just taught her how to start booking players. So she has players that travel. She books them. She makes her commission on it. And eventually we're growing the business. We have somebody outside that does our email marketing and our text marketing. Emails probably highlight a property's event 4 times a month. This morning a list came out of all the events that are coming up between today and the end of the year. And then they're highlighted in yellow the ones that Big Daddy's going to appear in. So Big Daddy's traveling to this. The little guys want to, I want to come. Listen, I can't get you into that tournament. The criteria of that particular event is a little higher. So than you play at. So I can't take a guy. You rate a player by his bankroll. And his bankroll is $10,000, and he wants to play in a $500,000 blackjack tournament. Well, that's not the way it works. You have to play to a certain criteria. Every event has a criteria. It's like if you want to go backstage with Bruno Mars, you have to have a certain bankroll that you come to the casino with. If you want to fly on that private jet, it usually starts at a $250,000 customer.
Wow. So if somebody's willing to gamble $250,000, is that private jet essentially comped?
Oh yeah, it'd be comped up front.
That's insane.
I have a father and son team that live in California, and we send the plane to pick them up in Fresno and bring them to Santa Rosa once or twice every other month. And then when their trip's over, they return back home. So that property just happens to have a 14-seater G550. So if I have a plane at my disposal, that's a tool for me to use to create the experience. Example, we just did Super Bowl. And where was Super Bowl? Northern California, San Francisco. We had 5 planes come in, private. Florida, New York, Arizona, Fresno. So the Fresno group, there was 3 guys, plus the dad, so that was 4, came into one of my favorite casinos right outside Napa Valley called Grayton Casino. They're getting ready May 7th to do their expansion reopening, introducing a new rooftop restaurant, 17,000 new slot machines, totally non-smoking. There's a 400-room hotel going to be opening up towards the end of the year or into 2027. Real excited about this property. Real excited.
That's in Napa Valley, you said?
It's in Santa Rosa, California. It's called Grayton Casino. It's out of the 5 casinos I have in the California area, that's one of my, it is my top casino that I bring players to.
I want to go back just real quick. Can you explain to people, so the opposition of an independent host is the in-house host. Is there another type of host too?
That in-house host can't touch who we touch. So every casino has an NCM department, National Casino Marketing, NCM. Okay, so the NCM department, like for example at the Wynn, broke a record last year of the amount of money they brought in from that department. Grayton, I've been working with them for 2 years, and I'm very well known there by the dealers as well as the wait staff and the cocktail and the front desk. And, you know, they've seen my YouTubes. They've seen my School of Hard Knocks video. I don't know if you ever caught that. The kid from School of Hard Knocks, he's pretty cool. The funny thing about that shoot was I was getting out of a limo at the Wynn and had a Wynn shirt on. And he grabbed me and said, hey, come and blah, 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 do this little skit with me. And so I did, pretended I was the host and say, hey, fella, you can't shoot here. And when he put that on his channel, I mean, my stuff rang off the hook.
Yeah, you're right. I went back and looked, and you got about 15 more million views than the other videos he gets.
Yeah.
They get her like 10 million apiece. Yours was at like 25 million.
Was it? Is that good in that industry?
Well, I don't know as far as numbers, but I mean, well, 25 million is insane. But as far as if you just look at his other reels, they all get about 10 million, which is insane. And the one that you guys set up that skit ended up with 15 more million.
Here's the funny part nobody knows about that. That morning, one of my marketing guys, Chris Champion from Vegas, who set up my SlickTex account that texts customers once or twice a month, had me on a Zoom call with this kid. But he was shaving. He was in the bathroom. He couldn't make breakfast. So we Zoomed, and that was the end of it. And then all of a sudden, he grabs me. Until the shoot was over, I couldn't tell him that we were on a call that morning. So... yeah, I'm excited to hear that and learn that knowledge. It had over 25 million views. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what I was going to ask about the host, though, is what benefit does, I guess this is a stupid question because it's the business, but what benefit does the casino have to allow you guys to come operate and get special perks to bring players in there if they have their own set of hosts? And you kind of answered that, I guess.
Yeah, their hosts can't touch who we touch.
I see.
The relationships are there, and they're looking for that 100K player and up. You know, they'll take the 10s and the 20s and the 30s and the 50s. So that's how a casino rates a player, by their bankroll that they've lost in the past, which I have to prove to that casino that this guy can lose $100,000 to get him into this next event. The next event is coming up on May 7th. It's a $300,000 blackjack tournament, baccarat tournament, sorry. And there's going to be 30 players in the semifinals. Okay, so that $100,000 customer and up gets that seat because he's that. They get his airfare paid. They're not doing any promo chips. We're going to do some wine tours. We're playing golf at their private course out there in Santa Rosa Country Club. Have 2 tickets to their rooftop restaurant. And I just found out Mario Lopez is coming and hosting. emceeing the event on Saturday. So it's a whole weekend. Starts Thursday, May 7th, goes all the way through to Monday, May 11th. And guess what? The tournament's sold out already. I mean, they're not even taking people Friday night. So all my marketing that I've done, I've got 11 players in it. My goal was 17, and I kind of have to stop. Now, you do get some cancellations and some fallouts, and I think that Sunday's a bad Sunday for some reason. It might be like Mother's Day or something like this weekend, Easter Sunday. So I didn't get the amount of players because the tournament's there and it's a holiday weekend, but we still have a good group going in.
So does it mean anything to your business if your players end up in the money for those tournaments?
Oh, they're winning. You know, some of them lose on the tables, they win on the tables, but that is their benefit if they come in the money. So all they have to do is win one round, and the final table, there's 6 players. Now, whether they chop it up or they do winner take all, you might have a guy lose $1 million the night before, and he doesn't want to chop the final table. Well, then the other 5 players are out to get him out, and then they'll chop, you know? So it depends on that players. Most of them wind up in a chop. I mean, I've done chops as little as 2 players, but it was for $500,000. So one guy got 260, one guy got 240. So there's a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, even in poker, that's a big thing now is chopping. They'll run like 2 boards. I don't know how much you know about poker, but if there's a big all-in pot, 2 guys, and you're like 40-60, they'll run 2 boards now. It's really big to chop and split and keep the profits on the table. You talk about these tournaments a lot. Is that the big appeal for these guys that you're hosting? Is when you can get them in?
I got a lot of tournament players because I met the tournament players when I was playing back in the day professionally. I was selling vacuum cleaners during the week and going to Vegas, traveling the world on the weekends. Electrolux, or that company at that time that I built that monster, you know, I started off just selling vacuums door to door. And it was supposed to be 6 months before you can be an assistant manager. I did it in 3 months. It was supposed to be a year before you could have your own store, and I did that in 6 months. And then I eventually got promoted to another branch, which is bigger, and then promoted to another branch, and then eventually I got promoted to division manager. I had 14 stores in 7 states. So I thought I had arrived when I was a division manager with Electrolux. And I lived in Denver, then I moved to Nebraska, and 1996 I moved to Kansas City. And biggest part of my life back then, I quit drinking July 20th, 1996. I resigned as a division manager, went back into sales in 97. That was my first full year in sales. I was the North American National Sales Champion for Electrolux 4 years in a row. So from 97, 98, 99, 2000, I did it 4 years in a row. And eventually the company got bought. They sold the name Electrolux. I didn't get any of that money, but that was okay. And they renamed it Eris, and they brought in air purification, water purification. So the air purification came at the right time during COVID. One of my mentors, Joseph Urso, who owns Eris and many other companies, showed me the way. I was his first champion he'd ever met. And so that was my career for somewhere 30 years. And I found out bigger was not better. I mean, I started with 1 store and went to 6 and eventually closed all the other 5 and went back to 1. And my best friend and woman in my life who's married, but she handled my estate. If I died tomorrow, she would be the one. And she's still there, and she's been with Electrolux over 45 years. That's a long time. That was longer than me. And, you know, she's in her 70s and just found out cancer came back in her life. But Patty Lockhart has my heart all these years. I mean, she was true Electrolux. And we taught each other a lot of things. And, just a little gal from Paxico, Kansas that drives from Paxico, if you know where that's at, outside of Topeka every day.
Pull it up, though.
No, every day from Paxico, which is outside of Topeka, drove to Shawnee, Kansas every day. When I hired her back in, I guess we started franchising in 2006. So, yeah, it's an hour a day. Paxico, Kansas. Yep. Every day she drives
What a
in.
hustle.
Yeah.
So was there anything outside just the general hustle that you learned from that business that you were able to bring over that made it like fluent and easy? Or was this like totally different when you got into hosting?
It was totally different, but it was comfortable. It was a business that the reason people choose me to book them and to handle their experience is because if I put them into a room, I've stayed in that room. I've gone to that property. I know what to expect. I don't want to send anybody to a property that, for me to make a paycheck, the customer has to lose. And I'll tell them that up front. I don't want you to lose. So I'm not sending you to the Dominican Republic. You want to go? You go. You know the rules and how I feel. I'll still host and manage and do dinner reservations and spas and air flights and all that stuff. But I don't ever want to see a player lose because I'm a player myself. So people that are players, they get more of a little, I know how they feel. Wake up on a Monday morning losing $250,000. You got that pit in the middle of your stomach, and see how that feels. It's terrible, terrible.
So, what are you saying then about the Dominican Republic? Is it the rates that pay out at the table? Is there something going on with their casinos?
No. The only way we get compensated is when that player loses.
Ah, I see.
I don't want a player to lose.
What? So you don't get compensated if the player wins at the casino that you send him to host outside of what they pay you to do their services? Is that?
No. First of all, customer doesn't pay us to do the services. We're monetized on either the theoretical win or the theoretical loss. But there's casinos that just pay on losses, and I don't choose those properties because I'll actually make more money as a host when a player wins because their theoretical is higher. Now, what's theoretical? It's their average bet times how long they play equals what the casino should win or lose. It's a formula. Every game has a factor, so it's different from baccarat to slots to blackjack. So, for the average person, I don't talk about that stuff because it's just way over their head, and I'm talking about the average player, 25K and under, doesn't get it. I mean, I used to play to 100K bankroll. That means I could win 100,000 or lose 100,000. I don't do that today. I can't. I don't even want to see my customers to see me gambling, because there's so many emotions involved. I got a call yesterday from one of my players where I don't book him. Okay, I don't book him at this property. And he says, "Man, Joe, don't be jealous. But I was down $300,000. I was down on my last $35,000. And I put $25,000 on the bank, and I made a max bet on a big tiger of $2,500. And I could tell the excitement. I knew where the story was going. Now, a big tiger is a 3-card 7 on the bank side in baccarat. So it pays 50 to 1. Go ahead and figure that out. 2,500 times 50 to 1 was $125,000 on one bet. Plus, he won the flat bet also of $25,000. It's called the comeback of the century, dude.
Oh, man.
Now, if the guy would have lost, I probably wouldn't have heard from him till Wednesday or Thursday.
I can imagine.
How do I go back? How do I get? And this guy, he's not worried about losing. I mean, this guy's triple millionaire, almost billionaire status. So, he swings 200,000-300,000 a weekend, and he swings way more than that in the stock market. But what gets that rush going? And he usually doesn't bet those little bonuses on the side. And for some reason he did it, and I can tell by the excitement and enthusiasm of him and his girlfriend on the Zoom call yesterday that something good happened, because I get enough of the bad calls. So
if he was down 300,000 and then he just basically won 175,000, does that kind of speak to the fact that it's not so much about being up or down, rather winning? Because he's still down 125,000, right?
No, he kept going.
Okay.
And left the 25 on the player, and it was a player run, and wound up getting the 300,000 back, paid his markers, and said, Joe, I got 6,000 left. We're going home. That might have taken just an hour.
Yeah.
But he was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yesterday was Monday. He didn't play those first 4 days because of a birthday party, tours, golfing, this, that, whatever he was doing. And like I said, I didn't book him at this casino, but we're very good friends. And he's not going to call his local host and, say he's going to tell me.
Yeah.
And this is the son. I've taken care of the father for 20 years. And the son was a 25K player when I met him, and sold his company and does his stocks. And, now his credit lines are a little larger than 25K. So
when you talk about markers, is that how all of your players get their money then?
Not necessarily. Casino markers are where the casino extends them credit. They go through a credit check, and that's how they're bankrolled. The ones that come all the time have casino markers. Some people do front money, where they'll wire in a required 100,000 to play with. That's one of the contingencies that...
Some more, Joey?
No, thanks, Ben. That's one of the contingencies where the casino looks that this guy's a qualified player. So...
what verification do they do besides them telling you, like, hey, I'm a 25K player? What type of data do they need to send you to prove that?
Sometimes they send it to me. Sometimes I can get it if they played with me before I have all the data. So it's easy for a repeat customer. When you're getting new business, it's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard because the casino won't release information, but we have to provide it. And that casino executive that's approving that player to come in, if they're known players in the industry, they've been gambling for 30 or 40 years longer than me. So
you talked about, like, the in-host can't get the things you guys can get. So
that's not necessarily true. That's not. Did I say that?
Yeah, I might have messed it up, but I thought you said, like, they don't have access to. Because I was asking why they wouldn't
access to the person.
Okay.
Okay, they can't get the guy from Sacramento because of my relationship. So how am I getting him to go to Grayton instead of going to Johnny Rucker's casino or what any other casino? It's my relationship with that player.
I see.
And the casino's going to give you A, B, C, and D. They're going to give you promo chips. They're going to pay for your fuel on your private jet. They're going to pick you up in a limo and bring you to the casino. They're going to give you the semifinals for the tournament. That's the package I put together for that player. That entices the player to say, okay, Joe, book me the Friday to Monday. I need a 2-bedroom suite. I need a bottle of Tito's. I need orange slices. I need soda water. And I have that all in the back office in a profile. When it's a new player, I find out what they like, what the wife drinks. By the way, California is great for players because they give more than Vegas. But California, by law, does not comp alcohol.
While they play?
At all, yeah, at all. At all. I can't send a bottle to the room. I can't. If I have to buy them a drink at the table, I got to pull out and buy them a drink with my money. It's just a law.
Yeah.
Just a law in California.
So I guess, again, you've kind of answered this, but I kind of want to hear you repeat it.
Sure.
Why, if I have millions of dollars and I have a personal assistant, what benefit is this person have? Why do they want the casino host when they could say, hey, my personal assistant booked me a weekend here? I'm sure that person can call and say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo. I've got $10 million. I own this company. Put me up in a suite. What kind of extra benefits do they have to say, hey, Joey, Big Daddy Lino, I want you to host me? What are their main indications of why they want you to host them?
Well, some people like using an in-house host. Some people like using an outside host. I'm a little creative. And again, it's the relationship you have with the player. If Chucky's been seeing Pete for 30 years at the Wynn, he's not going to use Joe at the Wynn. Now, Pete leaves the Wynn. And guess what? He goes to Fontainebleau. Where does Chucky go? He goes to Fontainebleau. So, to follow Pete. Well, I don't have him at Fontainebleau. I don't have him at Venetian. But I found one property where I can have him. I found another one in the Bahamas. I mean, that's going back to the hardest part of my job is getting the player eligible for me to book.
Well, and I guess if a player's coming to spend $300,000 in the high limit room, and they probably have developed these relationships when they started playing on 10, 15, 25K. So at some point, the things that they want, they almost have to have a host. If they want that suite, they're not just going to book it online.
They're not calling up the concierge and getting what they want.
Okay.
I mean, there are people that will just pay for their stay, but they're not going to get that 6-bedroom villa, 4-bedroom villa at the Wynn. I mean, that takes a $2 million customer, and those are reserved for high roller players. That's another. When you go from a 100K player to 150 to 250 to 500, things change at 500.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so you're in a different world. Those guys that are rolling 50,000 to 250, that's my core business. That's just book. Okay, event. I work a lot on volume. And now what I've done is I've taken a little bit of those 10s and 20s because guess what? I was a 10K player too. I was a $200 player when I was 14. So players grow. I've seen players grow in 5 years. I was a 25K player in the Bahamas. He lost $42,000. His first trip, he just lost his first $500,000. But what's he doing? His businesses are just rolling. But the last 3 trips, he won $1.3 million in 3 trips. So he was cushioned for the blow. You're not going to keep winning and winning and winning. I've seen it where it goes 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then it just gets terrible. It goes bad. When you go in bad, it goes bad.
Are you in any position to offer advice when you see them going on a downswing?
Yeah.
And
personal experience.
Do you tend to talk to these players?
Absolutely. I've talked players from $850,000 deficit, told them how to get back to even. And it took a lot of work, but she made it. She made it through.
Have you had any issues, and it's totally cool if you're not comfortable speaking on this, but like people get markers and then they don't repay them? Does the casino try to hold you accountable at all, or is it?
No, it's all done through the casino, but it is a offense in Las Vegas to sign a marker and not have the money. You go to the district attorney.
So that's handled pretty well.
It's handled pretty well, and there are players that go through it, and I've seen them go bankrupt over that.
Yeah, I think there were, was it Draymond Green? There was a basketball player a couple of years back that he owed $10 million in markers from Vegas.
don't know them
Yeah.
personally. I can answer the questions that I have experience, strength, and hope with, which, yeah, I won $1 million. I lost $1.5 million. There it is right there. So I've been through it. I've been through the swings. I've felt the downside. I can offer advice. Again, it's just sharing my experience with players, you know. Players want to talk. They want to talk more when they win. When they lose, you know, they want to talk too, but not right away. I call it Hangover Monday. I will tell you this. I've been haven't drank since 1996. I haven't used any form of alternate mind-altering substances since 2023. But a gambling hangover is worse when you lose than any alcohol-induced or drug-induced hangover I've personally ever had. It's terrible. So,
yeah, it's a depression like no other. That's for sure. Oh, did you?
Am I getting your?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are your feelings starting to? You know, you're thinking about that big pot you lost in poker.
Oh yeah. Well, I play a lot of everything.
Do you?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I've had some bad, 25 beer nights and going back to the ATM 7 times.
Okay, I've been there.
Yeah. Oh well.
You pay those fees.
Yeah, learning experience.
I paid $36,000 in fees last year.
In ATM fees?
Yeah.
$36,000 in ATM fees?
Yeah.
How much can you get at an ATM in Vegas?
First of all, you can't. Some of the casinos you can't use a business card, but it depends on just your credit card what it is. And if you have a stack of cards, you can rack up 30, 40. Back in the day, I used to have a 60K. That was my gambling card. So you take it out and use it just like a line of credit. But it costs you. It costs you.
So you said you don't try to play in front of your players, but do you still like to play?
Yeah, I still play. I do tournaments, and yeah, I know how I get when I win, and I know how I get when I lose. So,
what's your game of choice?
I've been loving sitting playing baccarat. I used to be a blackjack player. I won $1 million at the Cosmo, and they backed me off back in 96. It was 1995. And when they told me I couldn't play blackjack, they said, you can play baccarat, or you can play your slots. So I did. And first time I sat down and played baccarat, I won $100,000. Man, this is great. The next weekend I went, I think it was to Hard Rock. I won $100,000. Next weekend I went to the Palms. This is 3 weeks in a row. Sunday I won $100,000. I said, man, this is unbelievable. Phone rings at 4:30 in the afternoon Pacific time, and it's Southwest Airlines. Your flight's been delayed till 8 o'clock. I lost all that money back. In 2 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, and that's a true story. True story. And I don't want to keep this interview about the feelings of a player. I have a player, or as a player, that was all in my past. I don't play like that anymore. I can't. But, at that time I was building real estate. I was racing boats. I was playing professionally. I had a successful Electrolux business. I used to tell people I'm just a little vacuum cleaner salesman selling door to door, So now I'm just a little casino host looking for more people that want to play. There are people that don't qualify for a casino host. 10K player doesn't usually qualify for a casino host. But if you let them taste it and experience it, they may grow. So I'm taking a lot of shots. That's why I had to add Emily in, and she helps out a lot with that. And she plays also, and she's got a successful YouTube channel, and I see her growing. as a casino host, very good with the customers, customer service, dinner reservation, spa, transportation. That's what we do. Our back office that was designed by my partner, Joe P., I can go in there and I can see name, address, phone number, bankroll, approved bankroll, pending, reactivate, credit new, front money. Then I can go into the property and I can see what kind of room I want to put them in. I can see their discounts, their airfare policy. These casinos have all their rooms, all these rules, but we have all the documentation. You can't memorize that. I don't care how good you are. But the main ones that I do, I have a really good idea. Still have to get approval from the property. Property has to say, okay, this guy lost $100,000. We're going to give him X amount back in a discount and airfare. Or a guy lost $1 million. Here's what we're going to do. Hey, the guy won $100,000, but he played long enough. We're going to cover his airfare and his room, food, and beverage. That's the way comps work. At the end of a trip, casino looks at taking care of their room, their food and beverage. Then it goes to airfare. Then it goes to discounts if they qualify for all that.
So with adding Emily, do you have a 10K player? Can she start her own? Like, I don't want to say mini hosting, like it's a backhanded compliment, but like somebody that might be down the road a good client for you, can she start building that relationship and maybe get them minute perks or like mini perks?
Yeah, she's doing it right now.
So that's kind of her role.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage her to do that, and she's encouraged by incentivizing over her salary what she gets. And again, when you start making more money part-time in this job than you're making in your other job full-time, it's time to change the job.
Yeah.
Just what happened to me. So I'm giving her a taste. I'm letting her experience it, but I monitor all the emails. I monitor the inputs. I'm touching everything. 2 months later, I look and I say, who is this guy? Oh, that's that guy you referred, that so-and-so referred to you and you put him in Florida. Oh, okay. Unless I go in the notes to see where the guy came from. So.
Did you initially just start hosting in Vegas?
I think at that time we were doing Panama, we were doing the cruises, we were doing the islands, Bimini, and then of course Vegas had tournaments, and I can walk into the building and a certain amount of guys know me from that. Now I walk into a building and people say, I saw you on YouTube. I saw you with the School of Hard Knocks. I saw you with Vegas, Paulie C. And these people eventually call me on my next trip, If you don't know who Vegas Paulie C is, very good friend, New York fella, lives part-time in New York, part-time in Vegas. I want to give him the props. Casino Comp Wallet is the name of his Instagram and Facebook, and he does room tours. But when he does something with me and collaborates with me, my inbox goes crazy. But those players come, and they might only be a 10K, 20. Some might not qualify. A couple 50s and 100. They say, hey, Joe, I need your help, but it's in Maryland or Baltimore. I'm going to help that guy. So when you're ready and you want to take your wife on a cruise or you're going to come back to Vegas, I know you play at the Wynn, but I might be able to do something over here or over here. You definitely want to come to Napa Valley and come to Grayton. So I'm just planting seeds. I'm building relationships. I took the business and did real well, sending 13, 14 players at a time into a casino in one weekend. And I try to do 2 of those events a month. So like this last month we did, let's just say this month. This weekend, we're going into the M the first week. We got 11 players going in there, over $1.5 million in business I'm bringing to the casino. Casino looks at that whole package. They look at the individual, then they look at the package. We won't know based on how much they win or lose on Sunday when the trip's over if the casino make money. Okay? I get compensated either way. The 17th, we're doing Viejas in San Diego, California, which is a 100K blackjack tournament. I believe it's the 23rd or 26th. It's the Win $300,000 Baccarat tournament. The week after that, there's a $250,000 tournament in Atlantis at the Bahamas, which I've already been booking. So there's a lot going on next month. So there'll be like 4 events going. I won't go to them all.
Yeah. We go to Atlantis for sure?
I have tickets for that, but there's a conflict because I can't play in the Bahamas as a host.
Okay.
The way the Bahamians read the contract that GPN has. So that's great. I can go to the Bahamas and not gamble, and I still get my free room, my food and beverage, but I'm bringing $1 million worth of business down there. But that same weekend, I just got that tournament for the Win, and I'm probably qualified to play in it. It's a better value for the player to go to the Bahamas because there's only 36 players in the semis, where this other one is 72 players. So you have to look at the rules and what they call a fact sheet. It tells you all the facts: what time is check-in, what time is they're serving food, what time is round 1, round 2, quarterfinals, semifinals, and of course final table.
How has Vegas changed over the years since you began this journey? And do you have any big gripes? Not even to be negative, but like anything that's really affected your business or things that have just kind of where you've had to change course?
Look, the $21 bottles of water that you hear about, and that doesn't affect my players. I'm hearing a lot of that, but the free parking that went away and all those negative things that happened the last 2 years, they're starting to come back because guess what? That casino wants that 10K player. That guy's not on the map, but he's a number. That's why the numbers are down in Vegas. Our numbers aren't down. Their numbers are down. When a casino wakes up and they don't have an independent rep program, like so-and-so in Vegas, they'll be knocking on our door. When Vegas closed for the pandemic, I was there the last day. The first day they opened up, and they had shields all around, and, the dealers came in, everybody wore a mask and all that. I was a happy guy because when you went in the high limit room, every player that was in that high limit room, and there were 6, were mine.
Wow.
And guess what? The week before that, California opened up. And we had 11 in California because they've been on a break for, 90 days? These casinos were closed. So we weren't, you don't play, I don't get paid. So the casino was excited to have them back. I was excited to have them back. But I had them back in California before I did Vegas. And so I was real happy to see that. And that's kind of when the relationship started building even stronger and stronger with the Win, which is my go-to property. And it's a high-end property. There's nothing else like it in Vegas. Nothing. They just opened up a private club called the Zero Bond Club. And you have to be a member. It's like $3,300 a year. And I got my membership. And if you don't have a membership, you can't get in. I don't care who you are. So I started bringing players in there, and this guy fills out an application. It's only been open since, May 10th. I mean, I walked through the other day. I won't say the guy's name, but I saw the FBI director sitting in the back smoking a cigar. And I'm wondering who these three guys are. And that guy with me says, Joe, those are Secret Service guys. That's who that is. Get out of the way. So it's Zero Bond is going to put a new spin on the win. I mean, athletes. I had one of my players was the head dancer for J-Lo, was my guest on Saturday night in that casino. Had a couple other people too. No disclosure, very confidential. But yeah, it was a good weekend showing people things that they can't get access to. Everybody wants to know that upper end place. Some people, they come with their families and their kids. They don't care about that. $100,000, $250,000 place, they don't care about that. But this particular and that particular, because you can't get in and it's very private and you can't take pictures. You won't see social media. I can only bring in 3 people. Hey, I got 5. Is it okay? Mr. L, no problem. Take them in. Enjoy yourself tonight. Guarantee it's going to get bigger. Sorrentino's restaurant, Scott Sorrentino, who I've met already. It's a restaurant right next door. Zero Bond has their own private restaurant, which you can't go to this restaurant unless you're a member. It's called the Terrace Grill. Fantastic menu, fantastic. Sorrentino, same thing. So, like this Friday night, I made reservations for a car to pick me up at 7 o'clock at the M, and 8 o'clock we're having dinner at Sorrentino's, and then we're going to the Bond Club. I'm taking a guy from Alaska who's a good friend, and actually did a television show with me back in 2015 called The American Gambler. Now, it never got sold. Nobody ever saw it. It was basically a sizzle reel. But, man, we had fun. I've done I had a guy, local guy here, used to run with him on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And when the guy passed away, the family did a tribute to me in the casket. Thanks for keeping my dad alive an extra 3 years. He had pancreatic cancer. But this guy was a city councilman. He was a car dealer. He owned a strip club. He, built houses. I mean, the guy was just in everything. But the saying he said, just really, both of you guys think about this. Joe, I've lived the life of 100 men. And that just stuck with me. And at 60, yeah, I still have places I want to travel to and go to, and spots I've never been to, but I've traveled internationally. But I can say with the lifestyle that casinos have provided me, and I'm not a winner by any choice, I've lived the life of 100 men. What's next? What's next?
When's the first time you ever went to Vegas?
You got to go back when I was a New York boy and I just had children, and me and my ex-wife at that time, we were running back and forth to Atlantic City with 5K. I was a 5K player. It was 2.5 hours down, 2.5 hours back. 2.5 hours down, 2.5 hours back. Think about making that drive 3 times in a 24-hour period. I did it. Before we got checked in the hotel, I blew the $5,000. I had to drive back to New York and get the money, get more money. We get back, we check into the hotel, put the bags up, we go to dinner, I blow the $5,000. I go back, leave her there, come back, get the other 5, and we'll go back home the next day. It's like going to the ATM. You know how many times?
Yeah.
But that's 2 hours. So I do remember a trip taking my wife and my newborn son, and he was a toddler. He was walking 14, 16 months, and took him to the Mirage. And I remember he said he's got to go to the bathroom, and the food had just came out. And I turn around, the kid dropped his pants and started pissing in the fountain. I mean, you're really making me go back, but it's a good memory.
It's been a while then.
Yeah. Anyway, we hadn't been back to the Mirage since then. No, I'm kidding. But
so, I mean, does it feel surreal every time you land back in Vegas and you're like, you are Vegas now? You know, you're like a real instrumental piece of it.
Yeah.
And you're bringing people into this city that not only, I imagine, as part of your heart, but you're now contributing almost every weekend to the business. I just can't imagine what that feels like.
As soon as this real estate market straightens out and Joe straightens his stuff out, I mean, I just built a new house here 3 years ago, but I put it on the market, didn't sell. I was ready to pack up and move to Vegas because I can do so much more there. Remember, there's players that come twice a year. Last week was March Madness. The place was packed with people. And oh, there's Big Daddy. Oh, there's Joe. There's Joey. I mean, it was... Oh, there's Paulie C. There's Vegas Matt. There's this one. They're seeing that stuff on, YouTube. So for me, I get more of a kick out of planning the trip. Okay, so I had this M trip planned, and something came up where Uncle Dan from Alaska, he's never been to the Bond Club. Well, let's get a room. Let's get some free play. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's have dinner, and let me take you to the Bond Club. He's never been. He's never experienced it. I mean, Dan's a, smaller player. And but he plays. He gets his room, food, and beverage, and gets some free play, and he's happy, but he likes to gamble. I've seen him sit there and smoke a cigar and hit jackpots for $80,000 in a 36-minute period at MGM. Couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there watching it. Video poker machine went off 3 times in 36 minutes. Well, his ex-wife found out and she took half the damn. I mean, Jesus.
But I mean, does it ever feel fake, like surreal, that you wake up and here you are and you've kind of removed that asterisk because, you obviously loved gambling, you love the casino life, and now you've made a fucking career out of it. Does it ever, are you grateful or?
It's grateful, but that part hasn't hit me yet. I think when I'm in the high rise I want to be in, I might not be in the one I want to be in. Like in that movie Casino, that picture of Ace Rothstein and those guys. I think if I get me a little 1-bedroom and I'm watching the sun come up and the sun go down, there's not many casinos that have balconies. The only one I know about is the Cosmo. And I loved waking up early in the morning at 5 a.m. watching the sunrise. At the Wynn, stayed in a fairway villa, and you sit outside by the pool and watch the sun come up or the sunset on the golf course. That stuff, to me, gives me the goosebumps. Those are the things that other people can't see. You can't see that as a 10K player.
Yeah.
But that's the experience I want to bring to the player. But I have a certain group of players that I can do that for. Here's a great one, just recently. And this is the customer that asked me, what can you do for me that an inside host can't do? Why don't you wow me? Wow me. So had the big salon suite at the Wynn, and his girlfriend's coming in and sent a Rolls Royce and picked her up. And I saw the video of this too. They walk in the room, but from the front door all the way into the bedroom onto the bed, I had rose petals scattered out on the floor all the way into the bed. For the first 25, 28 seconds, she didn't even notice the rose petals were there because there was a butler standing there with a bottle of Dom Perignon. $865 for the bottle. Just go ahead and put it on his room. I'll take care of it. But she got to pop that bottle, of Dom Perignon and started drinking it. And I can hear the guy say, hey, look on the floor. And to see her face when she saw the roses and the trail. And I wound up doing it for somebody else, too, that was close to me. And it worked out the same. worked out the same. So, those things that we can do, F1, the Super Bowl. I mean, those big events that, golf events. I just started booking some golfers, and, I don't play sports anymore. I don't bet sports, but those people, they come in for a weekend and they're there to bet sports, play golf, drink lots of beer, and hopefully make a score, winning money. And they want to have fun. And, that's what I like seeing. I like seeing that.
Yeah, just creating experiences that you might not have.
Right.
Is there any parts of the business that you really don't like? And not maybe feel guilty about or even shameful would be too extreme of a word, but is there anything that really makes you uncomfortable about the Vegas lifestyle?
The Vegas lifestyle or my job?
I guess I see them as, intrinsically the same, but, is there anything that it just kind of hurts you a little bit? Like what you said, you're talking about when players lose,
That's one, that's one thing, but I had an incident this weekend with a little overbearing customer. And the customer's definitely a good player, but if I don't have the confirmation in 24 hours, you don't need to email me about waiting for 6 different reservations. Why don't I have this? What's that? Give it 48 hours. Let's see. Oh, well, man, it's Sunday, Monday. Those people are usually off. The inside hosts and the VPs, they're off, so you don't get a decision until Monday or Tuesday. So usually in my business, Sunday and Monday is my busiest day because the people are checking out. I got to do their folios, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock his time. It's 10 o'clock my time. It's on Saturday night. I'm at the Bond Club. I got people with me and just started firing emails at me and basically fired me. And I said, guess what? You're not firing me. I'm firing you. So he was talking about this one property. Well, he had 4 other trips coming up. So I hit the button and canceled them all. That means it had to go into the property, so it has to go to my office manager, then into the property. It wasn't going to get there till Monday, and nobody's there. I sent him all the cancellation notices, and he freaked out. He said, I didn't want you to do that. I said, look, you're either on my team or you're not, and we're kind of still in limbo. So I hope it works out. I have reinstated all of his reservations. He's a really great guy, but, I got over 1,100 players and 420 emails in a month from this guy is way too many.
That's about 419 too many.
Yeah, it's a little, I get it, but I can do all that in 10 minutes on a phone call. And I know you're busy and, real estate developer, but let me help you. If I set it up and I've helped you, if you don't want a player doesn't want to use me anymore, I write a letter and I release them. That's another part of the business. I've had to release a few players. I've seen players that want to become hosts, but they don't want to do it for full time for themselves. This is a job. This is a career. I spend 18 hours a day. I was up 4 o'clock this morning getting ready for this. I just had, my shit shower shaved, my haircut done 20 minutes before I came and met you. And I guarantee you if I look at this phone right now, there's just one. Let's see how many emails there are. Just in the first hour. 12. That's either property, reservations for a customer, new events coming up, marketing. We just had our event list go out this morning for the month of April, a day early. Shows all the events. Can I show the camera what it looks like?
Sure, yeah, do it. Love to see it.
Oh, sorry. There's 22 emails that just came in. Yeah, they're coming in pretty hot and heavy. But so that's the event list that goes to people. And the yellow ones, like I said prior, are the ones that are highlighted are where I'm going to be.
And you said that does add a little bit to it. I mean, I'm not trying to get you to sound cocky, but like people do want to be out there when you're out there, right?
This is value. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, people, not necessarily. I can handle my job right from here. It's the smaller ones that want to come over and watch how a big tournament works. And, you know, these players are way bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I'm bringing in $1 million, I'm just a little fry in it. But, yeah, that goes out once a month. Then I posted it on Instagram this morning, which will go to Facebook. Then I'll do TikTok. And then we'll do a text blast. And text is, we can't write anything in text based on casinos. So we have to call me a travel host and then show them the link to the property, not casino. Casino is a bad word in the text industry. So got some good people working on some good stuff.
Well, I know you're a really busy guy, and I appreciate this, but I got like a couple rapid fire if we can before you get out of here. What do you feel about like Vegas Matt and those kind of guys that are doing the influencing on the slots?
Monsters.
How do you feel about that? And
doesn't bother me. I got pictures with every one of those guys, and when I put it up on there, I get more likes and more views. And you know, someday I want to grow up and be just like him. But I haven't figured that part of the business out because my business is bringing Vegas Matt to Kansas City.
Right.
Or Raja, the big jackpot.
Yeah.
Okay? I've had negotiations and contracts set up in casinos before. We have final contracts signed for Grayton's opening for a couple of Instagram people that they're going to have influencers. So, yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah, it's just like the Lady Love Slots or
Lady Luck.
Lady Luck.
Yeah, I mean, these people do this for a living, you know, and the casinos are giving them free play, and they're coming in and they're filming, and you have to get special permission to film on slots, and then it's even harder on tables. See, I have a few of those guys that are smaller, but they're growing. The Gambling Chef. DQ James, up and coming, you know, but donates 10% of his profits to charity. So he does some good things with it.
So do you have players that ask you to get them special permissions to record?
Absolutely.
And
a lot of the new guys too. You know,
I'm sure the younger.
Yeah, that new people that want to come in, and of course, you know, how do you play? What's your ratings? Blah blah blah. And then the casino looks at how many views they have and how many followers, and that guy's not worth it. And, you know, so you got to go through that whole process. It's all doing something right now with. Her name is Goddess of Slots, and she's got a movie getting released, and she's out of Florida, and talked with her husband. I've talked with her lawyers, and I even talked with the producer in California. So she really wants to go hard. I haven't found the right fit for her. You know, it's got to be where the casino monetizes her with free play or something to come in. But she's bringing a big crew. It's, you know, it's a little different.
Yeah.
So,
what's the deal? Why is there a pushback with somebody just bringing a phone and recording themselves playing slots?
Slots is kind of easy now. You know, some places they give you a harder time, but they don't want you to film other people.
I see.
Then that happens a lot, and you got to go black out the faces. So you just can't film here.
Gotcha. Couple more things. I was going to ask you, like you said, you wake up at 4 a.m., and this was something when we were first talking you had told me. And so you, during the week, your entire day, structure-wise, is completely full with getting these deals done, and you only have one person working with you. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, 4 o'clock takes you an hour to wake up. You know, mostly 5 a.m. I'm up, and takes the body a little longer to get moving for medical conditions. But, you know, East Coast players, it's an hour early. I start talking to them, then I talk to Midwest and the California people and the West Coast people. You know, they're the next hour. Now, that's the morning shift. I'm getting calls at 10 o'clock at night from California. They know now I'm Daddy's sleeping at 10 o'clock. Don't be calling. So it's, yeah. So, but I make myself available to that client, because I want to book the reservation. I want to book the experience. Look, just email me your arrival date, your departure date, name, address, phone number. I tell people, just send me a screenshot of your driver's license. It's got all the information I need with your phone number and your email address. Boom, your profile's done. I know who you are. I can look at you. I put a number on it, but then I put the notes in. I can't keep all of these text messages that these are just players for this week,
Right.
of deals I made and this, and then they don't respond, and it's easier on email.
So as far as the future, are you going to have to get pretty expansive pretty quickly?
I'm just going to change the structure of the players I'm going to touch. Okay? Emily, you can have the 10K players. Okay? Figure it out. We'll figure it out, but the 25s and up will get me personally. I'm still involved with the 10s, but I need to dedicate my time and move that up. I had my first billionaires this last weekend. I only played for 38 minutes. Didn't make a commission, but I got a relationship. And the relationship is, this is unlike anything else in the world. How do I become a member? How do I get that villa? Well, you got the villa at Caesars. Should be pretty easy. So it was a good introduction. So.
Okay, so back to the relationships then. I was going to ask has there been anything that you didn't expect to come out of any of these relationships that's in your life now that's really impactful?
Oh, the growth, growth of the players.
Any other businesses that, maybe you didn't realize you'd be a part of? Or
I've been mentored by a few of the clients that are, multimillionaires, and sit down and follow direction. I'm still learning. I don't know every damn thing. I became a millionaire when I was selling vacuum cleaners, but there's a next step for me. There's always something new coming down the pike, and that's what I look for. That's what keeps me going.
And what about like Vegas no-nos? Is there anything you could share to like the average Joe that goes to stay away from any big scams, or any good recommendations? Like what would you say for the average Joe to get a good Vegas experience?
There's a lot of different roads to go down that. It depends on, the bankroll. I get calls, what's the restaurant? What's the nightclub? I don't think I can play to the level at the Wynn needs, so can I stay at Red Rock? Shout out to Red Rock. I love the Red Rock. Great off the strip property. There's just so many different. Here's an example. Customer calls up and they want to get into the new Carbone at MGM. Doesn't call me. Calls an associate player. And that player's strong enough to call and get a reservation where I couldn't. You follow? I can get a reservation at Sorrentino's at the Wynn, but I can't get one at Carbone. So it is relationships. There's a lot of locals. Vegas is a different life. I don't know if I want to live there yet. I'm not sold on it. I mean, we have casinos 15 minutes from here, but I can go up there this afternoon if I want. In Vegas, you can go up to one to eat all the time. That's how much it is. The city's open 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So,
you have any property anywhere else? Or just here in Kansas City at the moment?
Oh, no. We have all the properties in Iowa, St. Louis.
No, I mean like you personal. Do you have anywhere else you travel to that you live?
Oh, no. I used to have condos at Lake of the Ozarks. I built 3 of them when I was back in the vacuum days, and I was racing boats and gambling. So I had 3 places, different times. I think to move to Vegas to benefit on the taxes is a big deal because they have no state tax.
Okay.
That's why there's a lot of Californians flocking out there. But the market's messed up right now. It's just that stock guy I was telling you about before, that the rose petals and all that stuff. He's looking to buy a house, but anywhere from $2.5 million to $20 million he's looking at.
What a range.
Yeah. He needs a minimum of a 10-car garage. It's a car guy.
Shit.
So.
Well, man, tell people where they can find you, your services. I know you got Instagram, you got a website. Do you want to plug those real quick?
Yeah, Big Daddy Joey Lino on Instagram. Click the link on the Instagram page to get on my exclusive private event list. Facebook is Joey Lino. Joe Lino on TikTok. Best way to get me is email LINOS, my last name, ELUX @yahoo.com. It's my old vacuum cleaner email address. It's been around for a long time. My partner says, why don't you change? I got you this beautiful address. And we use that. Emily monitors it now. So it's Lino, Lino at globalplayernetwork.com. And Emily will get that. You can find Emily on The Gambling Chef, on TikTok, all the way through Facebook and YouTube. I live here in Shawnee, Kansas, and I want to take care of your next experience. I don't care whether you're a 10K player or a 100K. I want to service you. That's what I do, is I service. So give us the opportunity to show you what it's like, even if you're a poker player. You know, come see what it looks like out there.
I'd like to. I don't play that big, though.
It's okay. There's properties out there that cater to that guy that's 10K, 5K. I mean, that's why they have properties that have $35 rooms. You know, average room rate at the Wynn is $400. So you have to have that bigger player to do that. Anything else I'm forgetting on the contact?
You got your Instagram. Did you say you have your own YouTube channel as well?
Not yet. Emily's working on that. And the best way, I don't have a problem. My cell phone, 913-207-5146. Send a text, say, hey, I heard you on the podcast with Noah. Educate me. And then we'll start a conversation and move it to email.
Perfect. Well, Mr. Big Daddy Joey Lino, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Did you learn something? Did you learn something personally today?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my goal. What about you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, this is a blast, dude. You're a really cool person, man, and cool. I love everything you're doing, and it's exciting. So thank you, man.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, people.
Bye.